Pucks and Pints. Brought to you by Jimmy Sports Lounge in Kingston, Ontario.
Exclusively on YouTube and Facebook. It's time for the Pucks and Pints pre-show.
Yes, the Pucks and Pints pre-show, ladies and gentlemen. Here with you tonight, just Bacon and Coach K. But we're gonna rip through some stuff here, a little bit on the lighter side of hockey, before we get into the good stuff. Say hello, Bacon.
Hey, everybody, how's it going tonight?
In between yawns, we're Bacon and I are suffering from the Mondays.
Yeah, you're telling me today was brutal.
Yeah,
long day.
We're gonna do our best. All right, this one first. Saw this come up. I don't know if you heard about this one. Blake Wheeler, earlier in December, not only ruptured a testicle, but he finished the game. Do we need any longer need to argue who the toughest athletes on the planet are?
Yeah, I saw a meme with this. I didn't hear about it prior to that, but I saw a meme, and apparently he took a shot to the groin and finished the game like nothing happened.
Personally, I do not believe I have ever ruptured a testicle.
I think we'd know. I think we'd know right away if we did.
He's got to be our hero of the week.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's huge.
I'll be honest. I took a slap shot to the gut Friday night playing, and I thought I got hit by a boxing glove on Saturday morning. I got a huge bruise and my whole stomach hurt. I can't imagine how bad that would hurt.
Yeah, remember that the puck is probably harder than Indian rubber.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's cold. And no matter how hard we try, especially you and I, our age, our equipment, we're not properly covered.
Oh no. Of course not. And you figure that I don't know who shot the puck that he ended up taking, but you know it's got to be at least 60, 70 miles an hour.
I didn't even really want to talk about it because I kind of bend over and it's definitely not a pleasant thought. But next time you see a soccer guy or a basketball guy fall on the court or the field, this guy finished the game with a ruptured testicle.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me.
Anyway, you and I, especially, I'm glad you and I are here right now. We love the lower levels of hockey, and we've got a couple of ones here. Well, 4, if we can squeeze them in. This here was a junior B brawl that was caught on ice. Everybody got involved. Good old school hockey. You can't tell me they weren't talking about this on the street before they met.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could tell the ice hadn't even been skated on at that point. Like, they literally just dropped the puck and went at it.
This is the Royal Rumble. The refs are looking around. You take who, I take who. And they're rolling. They don't even fight like they used to. They're MMA fighting. I mean, when we used to do it, we'd punch until a guy fell.
Well, that's it, right? Like, at this point, like, I don't know if there's obviously suspensions and stuff, right? But I don't know if there's, you get additional fines if you take your helmets off or your gloves off, but they just sort of started going at it, right?
I don't know what I remember going to an old London Knights Spitfire game in the barn, and I think there was like 5 or 6 guys left on the bench, and Ernie Godden, who, by the way, a little bit of trivia for you, is the only one that beat Wayne Gretzky's OHL record with 88 goals, ended up playing goalie. I still remember that as a kid.
I remember going to a Chatham Maroons game, and we were sitting on the glass, and there was a brawl at the end of the game, and there was the same thing. There might have been 6 guys left on the bench.
They go nuts. Here's another Junior B game, and I apologize, people. I don't have the places where this happened. I just get these videos from everyone. Here's a fight in the crowd at a Junior B game. I got to start attending some Junior B hockey.
Yeah, so there was a number of stories this week that came out from BC and Saskatchewan in the Junior B leagues they got out there, where all these fights are taking place, and it's crazy. I don't know what they're feeding their parents out there, but
Like,
I mean, this is nuts.
And I mean, we could probably go together, Bacon, for like $5-10 a ticket and have some fun. I mean,
Right?
we don't have to partake, but we could, sneak in a flask and watch some of the. This is some intense rivalry going on there.
Yeah, you almost wonder you go to watch the parents instead of the hockey.
Well, okay, here you go. Speaking of parents, this was another one. I don't know who posted this one, but watch this kid here. This looks like it's rep league or maybe AA or something like that. Watch this kid here. Hang on a minute. I hit the wrong one. There we go. He's going to lay out the parent here.
This is a good one.
This was good. Watch this one, folks. He's going to I got the wrong one going. Sorry, folks. Remove that. Where's my here it is. Why? I know it's not a full camera angle. What? He did not. I don't know what that dad said to him, or if he was a former coach that like benched him. Can I redo that one more time? We got
Yeah, he hit him hard too, and he went bouncing up the stairs on his skates like nothing, man. Like he'd practiced that or something. Like, it's a good one.
This kid flew up the stairs. Well, he's just a quick point.
And just a good solid shot right in the chops.
That door just opened. The perfect where the guy was sitting. We shouldn't be laughing at this. We're teaching the kids not to do this kind of shit, right?
Yeah, that I'd be curious to go back and see if you can listen to find out what he was yelling about, because
well, you know me, I cut out the audio. Okay, one last thing, because we're running out of time. We got to do some serious hockey. And again, this one is not really funny, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, this guy.
But we really, really like to make fun of the referees on this show. This guy is freaking hammered at, I mean, a little kid game.
Yeah, I almost wonder if this is the continuation of that other video where he backs up into the glass and knocks himself down. But this is crazy. Like, this dude can't even stand up.
There you go. Can't get the puck. The poor kid's looking at him. Well, you all right there, ref? We're not even allowed to speak to these guys. There used to be a guy that reffed in when Jake played juvenile. I could have swore he was on crack the whole time. He was. He wasn't quite as bad as this, but
this dude can barely stand up. He looks like Bambi.
I'd be livid. I know the man. Even when he's not falling, he still knows the rules, though. The face-off is over here, gosh.
Telling the goalie to come out and pick the puck up. Telling the goalie to come out and pick the puck up.
These are the things that are embarrassing to the game. We probably shouldn't even be laughing, but anyway, take a lighter look at the game. All right, let's move this clock. Let's get the party started. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got the hot seat. It is the midpoint of the season, ladies and gentlemen. So we got some questions we got to answer. We've got Jay Vegas and we've got Mike Jolitz, and I'm sure Big B will arrive at some point. Hey, let's get into the party and get into the real stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, and away we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
And now for Pucks and Pints. Brought to you by Jimmy Sports Lounge in Kingston, Ontario.
Pucks and Pints Radio.
He shoots and scores. It's hockey time. Here are your hosts, the Big B, Coach K, and Bacon.
The waiting is over. You believe in miracles? Yes!
And now for Pucks and Pints.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bacon, I just realized that I need a battery in my clock. It says 10 to 2. I got one of those old analog. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Pucks and Pints, episode 16. Big B had an appointment. He should be joining us shortly. I am Coach K, and with me, as always, is Bacon. Do you have anything special you're drinking tonight? Maybe an espresso or
Nothing really special tonight. Tonight's a local night. I went looking for a specific beer today and I couldn't find it. I didn't have time to get to a couple of the other places I wanted to. So tonight is courtesy of Frank Brewing again. Just the Spitfires premium lager.
it's one of my favorites.
It's a very good staple go-to, clean, crisp, no nonsense type beer. It's a good one.
It's not one of your wacky flavors.
It's not. I do have some in the fridge. I'm kind of saving those for next week, I think.
That's fine. I like those Spitfire ones. So we haven't been to Frank's yet in probably a month or two. So we got to get back there. They got good pizza there too, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, their pizza. My wife absolutely loves their pizza. I was going to pick one up tonight, and I remembered they're not open on Mondays. So
Did you know someone in one of the food groups on Facebook or whatever it is, one of our local, they were asking who sells dough. And I know I can walk into Capri, I can lay it down, make my own stuff, throw it in the pizza oven. Turns out great. Frank's also sells their dough.
oh, do they really?
Yeah, that's going to be on my wish list. I'm going to be making some Frank's Thin Crisp with my own, variety to it.
Yeah, they have really good dough. It's really, really, really fresh, crisp. It's light too. That's the nice thing. It's not a heavy dough.
No, it goes good, and there's lots of room for more beer. The wife and I split the pizza the one day, and we just kept drinking the flights.
Yeah, we'll have to go. Maybe we'll go this weekend. See if you're around.
Yeah, I should be.
Get out there.
If I can survive this week. But anyway, I might be sleeping for 2 days, but I'm gonna try. I don't like to waste weekends. All right. We're going into the hot seat, boys and girls. This week brought to you by Bacon. He's got something that he wants to talk about. And now, Stinky Lockers presents In the Hot Seat. Yeah, Stinky Lockers, one of our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. You go to pucksandpintsradio.com and they do like stickers for helmets and sticks and stuff like that, custom made, really cheap. We appreciate when you can sponsor us. So I was surprised when you picked Brad Marchand. I know he really hey, stick taps to Mike Jolitz out there. I was really surprised when you picked him because quite often he's in the news for doing something really bad or irritating, or all they seem to do now is win hockey games on a extremely torrid pace. You picked Brad. So I'm curious, what's Brad doing these days? What have I missed?
So here's the funny thing. So I read a story about him this week, that is really kind of it was kind of neat. It's not a bad thing. It's something that you don't see very often. You've got these players that go out and some guys like certain gear, right? Like you've got some players that use only this type of a stick or only this type of pads and all that kind of stuff, right? So last weekend was the Winter Classic, Bruins Penguins at Fenway.
They marched out in those baseball uniforms. It was sweet. They did a great job.
Yeah,
Bobby
it was
Orr
really
there.
really cool.
It was great to see Bobby Orr and Johnny Busick. It was cool.
I thought it was a pretty cool way to start the game as well. Is basically he threw the first pitch.
Yeah.
From where the pitcher's mound would be to home plate, but with a hockey stick and a puck. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when some of these games come around, they've got jerseys and they've got all this special equipment that the suppliers bring them, and they say, hey, cool, here's your jersey for the Winter Classic, or here's your equipment, here's your gloves. Marchand is a diehard guy who doesn't like to change his gear.
No, God, no, he's superstitious as far as they come.
Yes, very much so. And when I saw this picture, and I should have actually sent it to you.
Do you have it on your phone? We could probably.
I'm gonna pull it up here. Yeah.
We can bring it up green screen. Big B does this to me all the time.
So it's not a great picture, but he's wearing a pair of gloves.
Those are the old gloves.
Well,
see,
that's where you're wrong.
Tyke. Those are like from when we played Tyke.
That's what you would think. However, if you look closely on the other glove, you can see that the manufacturer is taped over and they're spray painted gold. He was so superstitious. Warrior contacted him and said, here's your new equipment for the Winter Classic.
Right.
And he said, I don't want it. He says, no, thanks. So he went and took a secondary pair of gloves that he has that he uses during the season, spray painted them gold, and wore them on the ice. Now, they're still, as of this morning, they're still waiting to hear if that is a violation of the uniform policy.
You got to be kidding me.
They're going to get fined and all this kind of stuff because there's, they set out these uniforms and certain gear, and it's like you're going to use this type of glove or this type of glove, whatever, and he said, I don't care. He says, this is what I'm going to wear, and if you don't like it, too bad. And he literally just he went back and Pasternak was laughing because he said, yeah, he goes, we came in the back and we couldn't figure out why it smelled like paint, and he's back there spray painting his gloves gold so they blended in so he didn't have to wear the new ones that they brought over.
So number one, I very rarely support this man. I think he gets a little and it's going to be great to have Tom Wilson back, by the way. Tom Wilson's back with the Caps tonight. Bring back the goodies. Excuse me. I support him on this one. Where the hell did he get the gold paint? And where in the Boston Gardens did he go to a trainer or one of the coaches and say, hey, I'm not doing this. Where the hell is the gold paint? Like, I'm wearing my old gloves. I'm gonna make them look superficial or whatever. And where did they find the gold paint in Boston Gardens?
Yeah, that's the craziest part about the whole situation is, you see these videos of these guys and they're doing their sticks. They've got belt sanders and they've got jigsaws and they've got, all these different tools they use to put their sticks the way they want. But you're right. How do you just, you look at a trainer and go, hey man, I'm going to need you to run down the street to Ace Hardware and grab me with 3 or 4 cans of spray paint. Don't ask me why, just bring me gold spray paint.
and two things, bring that picture up again and stick taps to Big B in Queens, New York. Welcome back, brother. We know you had an appointment. Okay. Go get me some gold paint. And I want gold paint that looks official, like 1921 gloves.
Yeah.
How did they pull this off?
I have no idea. I really don't. And it was funny because I didn't notice it at first at all until it was pointed out, and somebody's like, what is wrong with his gloves? Like, are they really, really old? And somebody said, no, those are the new Warrior NXT gloves that are spray painted.
Somebody obviously really knows their equipment to notice that.
Oh, there are Reddit forums out there. Like I follow goalies quite a bit. And every day in practice, when some goalie comes out with something new, there's a post on the internet. Hey, look, so-and-so is wearing these types of skates, or so-and-so is wearing, this glove with this trapper or this blocker. Like, I mean, it's crazy that some of these people do go to these lengths.
I've never paid that much attention. So for once, ladies and gentlemen, he isn't spitting on someone. He's not licking them. He's not doing something, but of course he is controversial. Big B, before we move on, I know you just hopped on, but do you have anything to say? Oh, by the way, you need to watch the pre-show when you're done. We had some pretty funny videos for you to go through.
Cool.
Anything to say about Brad Marchand?
I hate Brad Marchand. He's a little, and every time the Rangers play them, I can't stand when the Rangers play the Bruins, because Brad Marchand is a tiny little pain in the ass. He's a pest on the ice and will be one of those guys that will score like the game-winning goal with 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that, like, everybody around the league hates him, but if he's on your team, you love him.
So here's the funniest thing, going right along with that. In 2020, they surveyed 326 players in the NHL. He was voted the dirtiest player in the league in 2020, and the best and the worst trash talker.
Wow.
Just because
something to be the worst trash talker.
He came out and said, look, I'm going to turn myself around after that, the whole licking incident in 2018 or 2019?
Yeah, it was pre-COVID, I think. It was, God, I hope you didn't do that during COVID.
And he said, look, I want to play for longevity. He goes, I don't want to be thrown out for something stupid. So now he just gets in people's heads. And that's the thing, I got stats on here. I've got all the, basically his career, all this kind of stuff. But you're right. He's a player that everyone loves to hate.
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome player.
He's a top 3 guy on his team.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, everybody,
this guy.
You would love to have him on your team. Everybody would love to have him on your team.
Is he HOF at the end of his career?
Absolutely. 100%, hands down.
Yeah.
When we
Hands
go
down.
visit the Hall of Fame, are we going to see Brad Marchand's painted gloves from the 2022 or 2023?
They'll have a statue of that. What is that old Hot Rod Ratfink character? They'll have him wearing the gloves, standing in the Hall of Fame.
You know how you go away to some of these bigger cities and these guys paint themselves in gold, and then they start moving. They're like human statues, and you throw $1 in or whatever. The Brad Marchand statue between Johnny Busick, Phil Esposito, and Bobby Orr, and he's going to start moving.
Yeah.
It's actually him because he doesn't want to go away.
I get a kick out of Mike Jolitz in the chat. He says he's the Nickelback of the NHL.
He is. He is the Nickelback of the NHL.
That's a good one, Mike.
Mike Sports Minute coming up shortly. But don't forget, we got Brad Marchand. Guess who's back tonight for Washington, ladies and gentlemen? Tommy Wilson's back in the mix. And things are about to get fun in the Metro and the Atlantic. Anyway, all right, the hot seat. Brad Marchand painting his gloves. Some for you all to ponder out there in Pucks and Pints land. Facebook user, a little remark there for us. Let's go over to Jay Vegas, guys, and then we'll hop into the water cooler talk because it's halfway through the season and we got to start talking imminent trades and imminent playoff performances. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. So we're going to mute your microphone. I'm going to trust Bacon that he's going to do it himself this week. And I'm not going to mute him so that he has to mute himself.
That's right. I'm muted now. So I'm ready. Here I go.
Well, I hear you. Talk. All right, he's muted. Big B's muted. I'm muted. Jay Vegas in the pick.
Hey folks, welcome back to another segment of what we call the J Vegas Picks of the Week on Pucks and Pints Radio. The boys wanted me to do a J Vegas Picks of the Week Year in Review 2022. So, we're going to get to that. We're going to do a year in review. This is it. This is J Vegas's Year in Review 2022. That we were going to do an intro segment, some music for it was my understanding we were... Anyway, folks, I guess we're just going to get to the year in review. So I don't know if you remember, Pucks and Pints started about 4 weeks before the NHL started. So we were betting a lot of leagues that we knew nothing about, and we didn't even know any of the players. We were betting on teams like the Melbourne Mustangs and over Brisbane, and we were in the Norwegian League betting teams that I couldn't even pronounce, like the Fredrikstad, the Eagles. We even bet the Asian League, and we bet on the Haikodu Eagles. Anyway, as we were betting all these leagues, these obscure leagues, I went 4-0. And then preseason started, and that didn't go very well. We went 0-2 in preseason. That put our record at about 4-2. But then we got things back on track. We took the Edmonton Oilers and we won, but then we took the Edmonton Oilers the very next week and we lost that. That put the record at about 5-3, I think, and we were up maybe close to 2 units, just over 2 units. A unit, as you know, is the base bet that you're making. And we were on Colorado. We even learned what a grand salami was, betting the total of all the games that night. We lost that, which put us at like 6-4. But then we went on a super huge winning streak where we were taking a lot of overs and unders. 1 week, we're in week 17 now, episode 17 of Pucks and Pints, but we only have 16 picks because we took Erik Karlsson to win the Defenseman of the Year, the Norris Trophy winner. I mean, let's be honest, it's episode 17, and I'm pretty sure we all thought that I would be minus 17 units. But we went on a roll. We took teams like Arizona to get over their goal total. We had the Ducks and Leafs game over. We took the Arizona Coyotes to go over. And our record was 10-5 going into last week's pick, which was the Junior Team Canada. The Team Canada Juniors to win the World Juniors going into the medal round, which they did. They faced Czech Republic in the final game, who actually beat them in the first game. But then after the first game, I don't know if you remember, Canada started slapping teams around like Dana White's wife. And too soon? We can edit that out if it's too soon. And then they ended up facing Czech Republic in the final game, and looked like a pretty easy win for Canada. They were up 2-0 pretty well the whole game, but then Czech Republic came back. And they scored 2 goals in like 54 seconds. Nothing was settled after 3 periods. Canada went to overtime. I think Shane Wright had scored a goal. Bedard was on fire like usual. But it went to overtime. I can't remember the young kid's name who scored the winning goal in overtime, but Canada won the World Juniors in overtime, which puts our record at 10-6. Slightly over 4.5 units. I think we're actually sitting at 4.64 units. I mean, if some of the other picks that I have put in, like we got 5-1 when we took the Toronto Argonauts to win the Grey Cup, so we'd be close to like 10 units, but we're not focusing on the soccer picks that I made or the Grey Cup picks that I made. It's not soccer and pints or pigskins and pints. It's pucks and pints. So we're just going with just the hockey picks that I've made, the official pick of the week, which puts us at 10-6. We're up close to 6 units. And so this week, what we're going to do, I'm going to touch briefly on early odds for the Super Bowl. But speaking of the NHL, our pick this week, what we're going to do is tonight, we have the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Flyers are playing Buffalo, who I don't know if you remember earlier this season, we sprinkled a little bit of money on Buffalo to win the Stanley Cup, but They've won 9 of their last 10 games. The last 3 wins that they've had, Buffalo, has been in overtime. And I find when teams get super lucky like they've been getting, and even more lucky with these last 3 wins being in overtime, we're going to go with the opposite. We're going to take the Buffalo streak to come to an end, and we're going to go with the Philadelphia Flyers. They're not going with Carter Hart tonight. They're going with Samuel Ersson, who's only started 3 games, but he's 3-0. So he's looking really good. I'm not all that impressed with Carter Hart. He's given up easily 3 goals a game. The pick of the week this week is going to be the Philadelphia Flyers at plus 180, which will get a record even closer to plus 8 units. So we're getting a nice, valuable line at plus 180 on the Flyers. Let's touch briefly. The guys told me, if you're doing a year in review thing, instead of your regular 3 minutes, we're going to give you 4 minutes. So let's really quickly go through the NFL. Right now, I don't like any of the favorites. I don't like any of the top teams. Philadelphia, KC, Buffalo. Don't like any of them. We're focusing on teams like the Giants, who you can get right now at 60-1 at most books, same as the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 61. Jaguars are 45-1. I don't like the Jags too much, but the Vikings, who almost beat the Buffalo Bills in a great overtime game, if you remember that one, they're 30-1. You can get Tom Brady and the Bucs at 25-1 going in to the NFL playoffs. So focus on those higher odds. Try to get some good value and collect some big money on some of these lower ranked teams in the NFL. Anyway, like I said, it's not pigskins and pints. It's pucks and pints. We're going with Samuel Ersson and the Philadelphia Flyers tonight to beat the Buffalo Sabres. And that's the pick of the week. Good luck, guys, and don't forget to check me out on OnlyFans. Sexy J Vegas picks of the week. Good luck, fellas.
The fastest 60 minutes on ice. Pints and Pints Radio.
I think we're turning this guy into a star.
I love how much he's getting into it now.
I think we've coached him along. Jay Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, he has no OnlyFans. You can only find him here. All right. I've got some serious shit to get to here. And we also got to get to Mike Jolis. It's halfway through the season, but I would be doing you wrong if I didn't give you 40 seconds. And I've got a goal horn here. You're each going to get 30 seconds. I hate the refs, disallowed goals, but I, for one, understand the rules of junior hockey more so than the NHL. Big B, you're on the clock about your disallowed American goal. I'm doing it only because I love you.
Are we talking about the most egregious call ever? The goalie interference when there was 3 feet of ice between the goalie and the shooter, but there was interference. Now, not only have I said it, but you've talking about NHL players have come out and said it's terrible. The coach criticized the referees. I mean, that was a god awful call. The defenseman, the Canadian defenseman, was in the crease because he went there. He wasn't pushed in like you said initially that night when we were talking. He went there. He didn't get pushed in. He was there. He's the one that blocked the goalie from getting the save. But of course, because it's in Canada, that's a goalie interference. Let's move on to the other one real quick. The other one that was disallowed that I could argue back and forth that, yeah, it is a good goal. No, it's not. The reason why I would say it is because if you look at the goal that they scored in overtime against Sweden, it was the same type of goal. The puck was underneath the goalie. They were jabbing at it. No whistle was blown. Suddenly it squeaked in behind the line. They called it a goal. Game over. U.S. wins the bronze medal. Same thing with the second disallowed goal in the Canada game.
I don't think in the Sweden game anyone threw a stick.
Well, I'm not worried about. There was nobody throwing a stick. There were people
There was a
jabbing
stick right
Oh,
underneath the goalie's
you-
freaking skates. For
You
God's
make up things just to like the Canadian defenseman was pushed into the crease. No, he wasn't. So again, no whistle was blown. Pushing at the goal, pushing at the puck. The puck got pushed in. Of course, goalie interference because we can't have the Canadians lose. So my question to both of you is, I know the Canadian players who played well, Brendan Othman, a Rangers prospect. Can't wait for him to come to the Rangers, who's on the Canadian team. I know they got their gold medals. When do the refs get theirs? Is it like a special back of the room kind of celebration where they get their gold medals too? How does this work?
No, at the end of the game, they bring them up and they give them a little, I don't know, the trophy about, I don't know, maybe 12 inches tall. It says IIHF on it. They give it to him right at the end of the game. All 4 of them come up and get it.
Oh, well, as long as they got their fair share.
And not
because
one
that
of
was
those
a
referees,
god
by the
awful.
way.
That was a god awful call.
Not one of those referees was Canadian, and I don't disagree with you. You know that I hate referees. I absolutely despise them. I have a long history of it. I am on record of it, both on this show and in my coaching career of disagreeing with referees. I could give you 100 examples where they and I never see eye to eye. But I'm going to tell you, when they're talking about this in the World Juniors, they have a little bit stricter platform than they do in the NHL. And blue paint is blue paint. And the American was in there.
No, he wasn't.
Whether I agree with that rule or not, we need to go to the World Juniors and have that changed. If you watch the Canadian girls today in the U18s, they were getting calls against them that was, and I don't know where they're hosting this, but it happens. The refs are part of the game, whether we like it or we don't.
But they reviewed that call. They reviewed the call, and if you look at the above shot, it was on Twitter or whatever it was, the above camera right above the net. The U.S. player was outside of the crease. Both of his skates were outside of the crease.
He was previously in the blue paint,
but he came out. You're not.
Yeah, so
it's not goalie interference forever because you were in the blue paint for 5 seconds.
I don't know if goalie interference was truly the proper thing to call it. I'd have to look and see in the junior realm what the definition of that is, because it got changed in the NHL and it got changed at the minor hockey level this year, where if you are a defender and you are in the blue paint at some point when the play is happening in that zone, if the puck gets shot and you touch the puck inside the blue paint before you have exited the blue paint, they will call you for interference.
Yes. Good call.
If you come out of the paint, then you can reach back in and you can go back in after it. And that's where I think maybe some of the confusion on that call came in, because you're right. When you look at the overhead shot, he was in the paint to begin with. Mm-hmm. When the shot happened, he would have to exit and come back in. Now his skates exited, but his stick never exited.
Right. He did a 360. It was a nice goal.
Look, the puck was outside of the paint.
But it doesn't matter. If he's touching the blue paint at the point of the shot, he has to vacate completely before he can touch it again.
Here's what you're missing. In the NHL, good goal. 100%.
Yeah.
110%. Did you watch the rest of the tournament by any chance? Did you see some of these penalties? Did you see the one call of the headshot?
Against Dean, where he got in the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a brutal call.
That was not a headshot. The
it was a
rules
tough call.
in junior are it's like you're playing prison hockey. I don't disagree. The stuff they call the high sticks, the infractions with the holding and the hooking and the no goal. I agree. But this is what junior hockey is. It's been under scrutiny for 20 years. And unless they look at their rules, and I don't know if this is a European thing, you can't blame this on Canada because Canada plays junior hockey and Canada plays NHL hockey, and the States do the same thing. And I think our rules are very, very similar, if not exactly the same. I think you got to look at the European rules. And I don't disagree, Big B. It would be a goal under any other circumstances, but if you understand the rules of this freaking tournament, you would have seen a lot of bad calls during this tournament.
I don't know. I'm seeing NHL players call out that call, and they should know the rules better than any of us.
But they have a different set of rules. This is what we're trying to tell you. That
did they not play juniors? Did they skip that?
No, it's not a matter of understanding the game. Now you understand my frustration as a coach. I know every frickin' rule in the book, but it doesn't always get ruled that way. And how it's interpreted in different leagues.
Yeah, one of the big problems is I don't want to say inconsistency, but the interpretation is the perfect way to put it.
Right.
Is the way a ref in Sweden interprets it versus the way a ref in Germany interprets it versus the way a ref in Austria or in Czechia interprets it. That's where it's the trouble spot, right? And they need to sit down and they need to say, look, this is how the rule needs to be interpreted, black and white, in period. And I agree as well. I missed the first 2 periods of that game. I came back and I saw the score and I thought, I don't think Canada's going to do it. I really don't. And then,
and at the same time, I gotta say, I'm arguing with Big B in the chat, and I'm thinking to myself, I got the Leaf game. They're getting freaking blitzed by the Kraken. They look like the laziest freaking idiots I've ever seen in my entire life, making millions and millions of dollars. And I'm watching both teams. I'm not just saying Canada. I'm watching both teams put on a clinic. It was moving so fast, I couldn't move, or you'd miss something.
You talking about the gold medal game?
Played a great tournament. All of them did. They all played it. The Slovaks, the Americans, the Canadians, the Czechs. Hopefully we get the Russians back next tournament if we can get some world peace in this freaking universe. And this is a great tournament. And to be spoiled by that, I get it. I love it. Austin Matthews is my boy. I'm an American fan.
Yeah, I shut the Leaf game off that night. As soon as they started getting creamed, I shut it off and just watched the Canada game. And I guess that's a good point to note. I mean, Seattle's on a little bit of a run, and they're looking really, really good lately.
Second, but Big B, I know he was fuming about it, and I don't disagree with him.
Well, and then like I was saying in the chat, if that goal stands, that's a game tying goal. It's 3-3. The game is played completely different. You can't assume that Canada would go on to win 6-3. You can't assume that. The game would be played completely different as a tied game instead of them playing from behind.
Let's give a big shout out to Freddie Henderson from Empire Sports.
What's up, Freddie?
Hopefully we'll be joining them very soon. They're one of the hottest sports network going on out there since 2022. And Freddie and I are in preliminary negotiations, and hopefully him and I get along better than you and I do. Big deal. It's a Canadian and American, and that's the great thing about the game. You're just passionate about it. But all I'm trying to point out is I've been dealing with this frustration with the women juniors, with the Olympics, with juniors for forever. Their rules are different than what we're used to. And we can't say the referees are stupid like they are in the NHL because they're probably doing their job.
Yeah, I would almost argue that the refs in the junior level are probably a little more non-biased than the ones in the NHL, to be honest with you. I think they would be a little more of a better sounding board and a better officiated game versus an NHL game.
but here's what we're talking about today.
We're
right?
dropping it, right?
We're
You know
talking
what?
about.
I warned you about this, and you are continuing.
He doesn't like. He doesn't like debate where he loses.
We only have an hour show, and I've got stuff we got to get to. We're at the half mark of the season, for God's sakes. You and I will continue this throughout the week, and maybe we'll pick it up again on the pre-show next week. My Lord, this guy is tough to deal with sometimes, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we're waiting for you to move on. So
NHLShop.com presents breaking news and water cooler talk.
Yes, thank you to our friends over there at NHL.com, and we appreciate everyone that did Christmas orders. We still haven't got paid because they hold on to it for like 90 days in case you're returning it. So, for instance, you might have been a Ranger fan. Now you're changing your mind. You want to return that jersey Big B has on and get yourself, I don't know, a New Jersey Devil jersey or something.
best jersey out there.
The Devils jersey, you mean, or the Rangers jersey?
I don't know. You getting a Coyotes jersey? How's that working out for you?
Absolutely.
You know what?
These new jerseys, and Bacon came in our personal chat the other night, and he's like, "Oh, I love these indigenous jerseys with tractor or whatever they called it back in the day."
Oh, they were gorgeous.
They're gorgeous for an art gallery. We're playing hockey, for God's sakes. Wear your normal uniforms.
I'm going to call you the NHL fashionista from now on.
Your New York Rangers socks are the ugliest socks I've ever seen in my life. They are so distracting to the game. They're more distracting than those billboards that move.
The NHL fashionista.
All right, I got a couple questions for you guys. And I got to watch my clock here. All right, the shoe has not dropped yet. We're halfway through the season, so there's a couple things I wanted to get you guys' opinion on. Hot trades. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Chychrun, this defenseman now in Philadelphia, or Ryan O'Reilly. Who's going to buy? Who's going to sell? Who's going to tank for Connor Bedard? Names being dropped in Montreal. Everywhere we got takers and we got teams that are going to go for it. What is the first shoe that's going to drop, boys? And where are they going? What's the first big trade that's going to happen? Brock Bessemer, I forgot him, sorry. And where are they going?
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think these guys, the deadline's coming up. I think they're waiting to see what happens with Wright.
Well, Wright's been traded to the London Knights, is he not?
Well, it's rumored. It's not confirmed yet.
That doesn't. He's still property of the Seattle Kraken.
He's still property of the Kraken, right? So, based on that, from what I read today, and I was listening to NHL radio, they were talking about the Kraken. They're one of the teams that has the money and has the players to move, to make some serious moves, to get rid of some guys, to help some teams out, to bring some guys in to help build up. So I think the trades are going to be contingent on, let's finish this deal, then let's throw our feelers out there.
All right, well, what's the first big name to drop? That's our question.
That's a good one, because there's a lot of guys that are just chomping at the bit to move.
You need time to think about this. This is a 60-minute radio show. Big B, who's the first one to drop, and where is he going?
Patrick Kane to the Rangers.
I disagree. I'm going to call Dallas Stars. Write it in your book.
Patrick Kane to the Dallas Stars?
Kane to the Stars, eh?
Okay.
I'm not saying that's the first one, but that's my call on Kane. Bessemer maybe to the Rangers. I don't think the Rangers are going to mess with their chemistry that much.
They need help 5-on-5. They need scoring. They're great on the power play, but on 5-on-5, they're not good. They
How about that
help.
kid in what's that kid in San Jose? He's got a big contract, but they might be able to eat it. Not I'm not talking about who's this?
Oh, not Gord. Not Gord. Shoot.
There's a good guy in San Jose there.
Yeah, I can picture his face. I know who you're talking about.
There's some big names coming out of Philly. I know they're not going to stay with the team. Big B, James Van Riesbeck, Kevin Hayes. Who knows? Ty Domi is one I hope that goes to the, not Ty, but Max Domi.
Max Domi.
I'd love to see the Leafs get him. Some of these smaller deals, but I'm not so sure that the Rangers are going to bite on Kane right now.
They need help, and Drury has shown that he'll almost mortgage a little bit of the future to try to win now. They got that close. Huh?
So you were a year ahead or you were 3 years ahead of schedule last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to throw it all away?
Do I want to? No, I don't think Patrick Kane is worth it. But I'm looking at the team and how Chris Drury runs it. I think Patrick Kane is coming. I think they're talking about Lafreniere now going the other way. Ultimately, I think it'll be like a combination of Zach Jones and maybe either a Lafreniere or Capo Caco going the other way. They're not going
to get rid of Caco. They're friggin' nuts if they do.
They've talked about getting rid of him too.
He's a player.
But look at what you're talking about. Lafreniere went number 1. Caco went number 2. And where they're playing them, they're not living up to those picks.
No, yeah, so, Lafreniere has been a
Gerard
disappointment.
Gallant is also, as much as I dislike a lot he does, he's a very patient man, and he cleared the air with Lafreniere.
Yeah, but he did that last year too. I think
it would be a mistake. I know you're hungry for it. I mean, I'm hungry for it every single year. The Leafs are in the ones that are like in a crunch. They got expiring contracts. Nylander, Matthews, Bunting, they're all expiring. We're in big trouble. You've got a future there, and you were ahead of schedule last year. So,
right, but they also have a salary cap.
If you make it out of one round this year, you're still doing good.
Right, but they have to think about the salary cap going forward. They have all of those players now have to either go on a bridge deal or get fully extended, and they already extended, Zibanejad and Kreider and Fox, and so they have cap issues. So if selling one of those players like a Lafreniere or even a Capo Caco where they don't have to put out the deals. They're looking at that too. They're in cap hell coming up next year.
I would not get rid of Caco. I think that kid's a great player.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't get rid of Lafreniere either. But I'm looking at how they're going to run the team.
Now, how about this, guys? While we're letting Bacon digest all his thoughts.
I'm ready. I was waiting for it to go.
Well, I have a question. What do you think about Jonathan Taves to the Winnipeg Jets? I mean, they're a team we underestimated the whole entire time. He seems to fit there for me. This is, of course, if these boys even want to be moved to these teams.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right? Like, guys don't want to stay where they're at, but I think we talked about it maybe the third or fourth week of the season. Teams coming to Canada, guys coming to Canada, the hockey is good, but the paycheck and all the crap that goes along with it is not as good.
They overpay.
You got all the crap they take off the top because of the exchange and everything else.
They still get paid in American dollars. The taxes
they do.
Can't do anything about, but they get paid in American dollars when they come here.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they take a little bit of a hit to do it, but I don't know. You're right. Absolutely. We underestimated Winnipeg at the beginning, saying, hey, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot. And here they are, putting up some numbers now. So I don't know.
So who's your first guy to drop and where is he going? Can we get back to the original question?
Yeah, I think, coming from a Canadian team, I'm looking at the Canucks. Like, you got the strife going on over there with JT Miller and with Horvat.
I got it down. He's freaking poison, that guy.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Horvat's going to be the first one to go, coming at the end of his contract this year. He's looking to move. I think he'd be a solid move to, see Horvat maybe go to Dallas or Horvat end up at the Bruins maybe. The tough part for the Bruins is, again,
Boston. See, this is the thing about Boston.
Making the room, right? That's the tough part, is making the room. Nobody's got the cap space to do it. except Seattle.
Well, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup, but it's
And they're not this year. That's for sure.
It's make or break time in Boston. But I don't know about you. When I got a perfect steak or a perfect egg, I ain't going to ruin it. Maybe just a little touch here or there. Maybe a Max Domi or something like that in Boston. I wouldn't be going for an earth-shaking move. You got to roll with this. I mean, as much as I don't want these guys to win, they're on track for 140 points right now.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right? Like, if they were to make some sort of a move, the problem is, who do you move? I mean, that's a pretty solid team.
Settle the room. I mean, I know they've had some more injuries again, and they're going to get some injuries. I mean, they haven't had the bug everyone else has had, but they got.
Well, they started this season with the bug, right? They started the season down 4 players,
right?
And then they finally came back sooner than expected. But yeah, I mean, it's there's not a lot out there to move on that team to make it any better.
So who is your pick, and where are they going?
Well, I said Horvat. I could see Horvat to Dallas, Horvat possibly to the Bruins if they can make the space. I think he's going to be one of the first ones to go.
And I also heard this week, guys. I don't know if you like. I think I don't know if I'm in this Bedard generational player thing. I think he's good or better than a Marner. But he's not your Ovechkin, Crosby, McDavid character. But there's a lot of teams going to start tanking. I still think that, God, I would love to have that Anderson off Montreal. Ottawa apparently is going to start selling the farm. Cam Talbot's going to become available. Not Ben Sherratt, but who's their guy? Shabbat. There's some names like them out there. Because this is maybe the biggest tank year ever.
Yeah, they had a graphic up on Sportsnet here. I got the Montreal Seattle game on to my left here. They had a graphic up showing the Bedard lottery basically, and Chicago is leading it at 13.8% right now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of teams that that are just going to look at it and go, we don't have a chance. So. Healthy scratch. We don't care if we lose. Let's see what we can do.
Now I'm going to turn to I want to turn by division. So we got to do this pretty quick because we got Mike Joel that's coming up. I'm going to turn over to Big B. By division, I want you to look at this lineup, and I want you to tell me who's in and who's out. Pick your 3. I'm going to give you 3. Mm-hmm. No 4th team right now. Give me your 3. Who's in, who's out, or it doesn't even matter. Who's in the playoffs, who's out, and I don't mean pick Montreal. Like look at that race. Bruins, Leafs, Lightning, Sabres, Panthers. I'll make it simple for you. I laughed at Jay Vegas. I'm going to call the Sabres in. I think they should make a couple moves for some veteran guys. They got 3 of the top 10 guys at 40 points right now.
They're on fire.
Their goaltending is terrible. But if you look at it, Anderson is one of the top 4 goalies in the NHL right now. I don't know how it's happening. Buffalo's in. Florida's done. They fired the coach. They made some stupid freaking trades, and now they're on the burner. And I was telling you on the pre-show, Bacon, Big B didn't hear this. That Ben Sherratt deal, where the first round pick from Florida went over to Montreal, it's not draft protected. If that turns out to be Connor Bedard, I'm going to stand up and laugh because I hate the Panthers. They're cooked. I'll give it to the Sabres. Outside chance for the Wings, but I'll give it to the Sabres. Big B.
Well, I'll let B chime in, but the Panthers are only 2 points behind the Sabres right now.
They also have 3 games in hand.
Four.
Four games in hand. The Sabres have 4 games in hand.
You're right.
I don't know why you're discounting Tampa Bay, right? So I'm going to put them in Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is in. Boston, Toronto.
You said 3. You said 3.
Florida is out.
Right. You said 3 in the division. So Boston, Toronto,
No,
Tampa
I'm
Bay.
saying pick your teams in there out. I say Buffalo's in, Florida's out.
Uh,
Never
Boston,
did.
Toronto, Tampa Bay is my 3 in the Atlantic. In the Metro is going to be Carolina, the Rangers, and Pittsburgh. Over in the Western Conference in the Central.
No. You're going way ahead of yourself.
You said we got to do this quick.
All right, do it.
Western Conference, I'm picking Dallas, Winnipeg, and Colorado. In the Central, and in the Pacific, Vegas, Calgary, and LA.
He still believes in Calgary. At least him and I do agree. Who's your wild cards?
In the East, well, you're talking about wild cards, Washington, I would say right now, and it could be New Jersey. New Jersey's going to fall. I always said they were going to go in 7th.
All right, Bacon, I guess do your whole thing, and I'll chime in with the rest of mine.
Yeah, I like Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, over in the Atlantic. In the Metro, Hurricanes. I like the Rangers. I'm going to say Hurricanes, Devils, Rangers. On that one, I think Devils are going to maintain. Coming across in the Central, love the Stars for sure. Stars getting in. Colorado, and I don't know. I'm torn, but I'm gonna say the Jets, but I don't know if they can sustain. And
13-1.
Yeah, they look good. If they can continue it,
goal differential.
Then yes. And then on the other side, I've got Vegas, I've got Edmonton, and I've got LA.
All right. You guys did much better than I did. I kind of went off script, I guess. So what I'm saying is I got the Bruins to win that division. It's theirs to lose. Leafs and Lightning. Sabres are my pick for a wild card out of that division. The Panthers are a freaking shit show. I'm with the Hurricanes. They're an amazing team now with Pacioretty, and whether they add something, we'll yet to see. I agree the Devils are going to drop. I'll take the Rangers. They've earned it. And Penguins, Capitals, and Devils will be fighting for the spot, or maybe 2 spots, and Buffalo drops. Islanders, not a chance.
And like we said, the Penguins, this is the year. The Penguins have got to do it, or that might be it for them for a while.
Yeah, just sometimes you don't know what you're going to see in that Metro. That's the problem. But I'll go with the big 3. I got you with the Rangers, or at least the big 2, the Rangers and the Hurricanes, and then after that, I'm not so sure. I got Stars. I got Jets. I got the Avalanche hopping the Wild. I think the Knights are going to stay there. I don't believe in the Kraken this year. Someone asked me the other day who you got, the Kings or the Oilers. I'll go Kings and Flames. I don't think this Oilers team is a good team unless they make some major changes in the next couple of months. They are 2 players, and that's it. And I don't think Kane's going to make that big a difference. I don't think this team is that good. I think the Flames are better, and I think the Kings are going to make some changes. And I trust Rob Blake, so I'll go Knights, Kings, Flames, maybe an Oilers wild card. But there's going to be some battles going on there. It all depends if the Blues fire sale, the Predators, what are they going to do? I don't know. That's it for me. Halfway through the year. Write it down, Big B, but I'll call. It's over. It is over for the Panthers. I'm going to call it. They're at, what are they at right now? I know I got to get to Jolitz. I apologize, Mike.
They're 18, 19, and 4 with 40 points.
They've got 40 points.
5th in the Atlantic.
With exactly half their games to go. 98 was the mark last year. they're going to play that much better in the second half?
They are 5th in the wild card.
I don't see it.
6 points behind Pittsburgh for the second wild card.
As Jay Vegas says, I sprinkled juice. I called it preseason. I'll call it again. It was a farce. And the Panthers will not be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't see the Panthers pulling a Blues and, from a few years back where the Blues were in last and then they come back to be a notable team. I don't see it either. I think they'll struggle a bit, but I think they'll fall just outside.
They completely destroyed the chemistry of that team. They fired a coach who was popular and who won games.
But they got your buddy, Matthew Tkachuk.
They got Tkachuk, and they traded away 2 other guys who were extremely popular and flat. I don't know. We got to go to Mike Jolitz, folks. All conversations for the weeks to come. It's only going to heat up.
Now it's time for Sports Minute with Mike Jolitz.
Hello, pucks and pints. Hello, listeners around the world. Hello to Coach K, Big B, and to Bacon. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope the show is going well also. But now, it is now time for the Sports Minute. The regular season ended for the NFL. The Sharpnels lost. Kansas City won. Pittsburgh beat Cleveland. Minnesota beat the Bears. The Packers lost and won't be in the playoffs. And then the funniest thing that happened on Sunday, the Texans won the game but lost the number 1 draft pick and handed that to Chicago. Nice. Scrubs. And college basketball news, number 1 ranked Purdue lost to Penn State. Ohio State lost. Marquette beat St. John's. My Badgers lost as well. And Iowa beat Rutgers. And finally, in the sports news, congrats to Avon, Indiana's Weavites on taking the ping pong regional championship last weekend. They played the Toboners, a tough team from Vietnam. It was broadcast on the Ocho at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. That does it for the Sports Minute. Take care. I will be back next week with more sports news. Mike Jolitz out. Bye-bye.
Short and sweet. We appreciate it, Mike. We got 3 minutes. Guys, things are going to heat up here now. We're getting at the point of the year where things are going to get serious, and we're going to have the real teams from the pretenders, and there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. And then we can dream if certain teams will make it past the first round.
Yeah, it's going to get good. I can't wait for the playoffs. I love playoff hockey. It's like
I do
the best
too,
time of the year.
I'm really starting, we were talking back in November or whatever, the third point of the year, and I'm looking and I'm going, wow, this is getting really interesting. New Jersey had that fantastic start, and then they started to drop, and who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. And I think we're going to really start to separate it down from, the 32 teams to at least maybe 22, 23 teams that are alive for those 16 spots. And it's going to get fun now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the loss situation. And like we mentioned briefly on the pre-show, or before we started the pre-show, there's only been we're at the midpoint of the season, and there's been 1 coach fired.
Yeah.
So we'll see as things progress. And I think maybe a lot of times teams are sitting there going, well, we're going to lose the season anyway. What's the point in firing the coach? Let's just leave him here. We'll pay him instead of firing him and paying him. Just leave him in here and just suffer until the end.
Fire Paul Maurice. Stupid decision. I called it. I'm standing my ground, Big B.
He was the man that put the Winnipeg into the awfulness they were in before the season.
Yeah, but he also
then he quit halfway through.
Finals, or not the Stanley Cup Finals, but he took them to the Western Division Finals against Vegas that year. But I don't know. It's going to get fun now. Now it's going to get fun. Now, and the other thing you want to talk about people getting fired. Dubas, Kenny Holland, Big B's putting a lot of pressure on those Rangers, but they're ahead of schedule. As far as I'm concerned, nobody's moving out of that town. But some of your spots here where teams are expected to win, Edmonton, Toronto, Colorado, and then you got these weird teams like this could be a Dallas and Boston Stanley Cup, and as much as I hate it, it'd be beautiful.
It would be a good watch, I'll tell you that. There'd be I could see B and I going back and forth quite a bit in a Dallas Boston final.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
That would just be phenomenal. But anyway, that's all we got for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back again next week. It's going to pick up. We are now 7 weeks until the trade deadline, boys. And that's when we'll see who wins, who loses ultimately in the end. I'll see you guys next week.
Later.
See ya.
Thank you to all the listeners on our affiliate stations. To find out more, check out Pucks and Pints Radio on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel now and make sure you never miss another upload.
This is Pucks and Pints.